In today's video, I wanted to compare two different trades that I took today and highlight what made trading them such a different experience. Have you guys ever taken a trade where after locking in profits, you're just like, wow, that was such an efficient and effective trade. Like that was a beautiful trade. If every trade could be like that, I would want it to be just like that. But did you actually dig deeper into understanding what made you feel that? What about that trade led to that efficiency and effectiveness versus another trade that I took today? And let's go ahead and jump right into it. That, sure, the outcome might have been that I made money, but it was such a different experience. To some degree, it might almost feel like, look, you might have been so exhausted that by the end of the trade, you just wanted to get out. I know that if you've been trading for some time, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Again, I love making videos like this. If you guys would like me to make more videos like this in detail, especially for some beginners out there, I hope that we share enough points where you can kind of build off of it and become a better trader and investor yourself. That being said, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Even before we talk about this, I need to talk about what drove markets higher today. NASDAQ market pushed higher and is pushing higher. We're at new all-time highs, and that's because of the news of what's going on. Pretty much the Avengers of CEOs are flying with Trump. I don't think it's going to load. Well, I don't know if it's going to load here, but pretty much Jensen, who's the CEO of NVIDIA, Tim Cook, Elon Musk are flying in Air Force One with Trump to China. And especially for NVIDIA, it doesn't look like it's loading. Especially for NVIDIA, a big focus has been tapping into that Chinese market. That's something that they really want to tap into. It can add an additional $20 billion in revenue minimum a year, and that would be amazing for NVIDIA. So it's all based off of the optimism that they can tap into that market and that a deal will be sealed. Now, will that actually happen? I don't know, but the market always gets ahead of itself, so there's a lot of excitement. Well, why does NVIDIA going up cause the NASDAQ market to go up? NVIDIA is a very, very large company. It's the first company ever to exceed a $5.5 trillion market cap, and it did that today. And yes, all based off of the optimism. That's as it began to break above $227 per share, and now during overnight hours, it's trading at $228 per share. Market cap before markets closed were right around 5.47 trillion. But NVIDIA is a very successful company. It's not just a company with accelerated growth recently and price performance, but also revenue-wise. NVIDIA is a company that trades at a 45x multiple for its P ratio. And you guys know that I have no problem calling out bullshit companies that trade at insane valuations, but their overall revenue is dog crap, right? That's not necessarily the case for NVIDIA. Not only are they leading the AI revolution, but they're also walking the walk. When it comes down to their overall revenue, $215 billion a year, and their overall net income, even more sexy, over 50%. Net income, $120 billion. Now, again, the excitement is, the optimism, the hope is for investors is that, hey, maybe Jensen can lock in a deal while going with Trump, with China, and allow NVIDIA to tap into that market. And that's why you could see, again, a lot of excitement, a lot of optimism. It doesn't mean that any deal is going to get signed. There's just a lot of optimism. And all of this excitement was all during the same time that we had one of our worst inflation reports being released this morning in almost the past 3 years. Some of you might have noticed it during the pre-market session, right when markets opened, markets sold off a little bit, but then all of a sudden they did not care. There's just too much excitement. There's too much optimism. Markets are trading in an irrational way. Be careful. Don't be leveraged. But with that being said, you should know that, yes, overall inflation for the producer side of things went from 4.3 to 6%. 4.3 to 6%. Core inflation went from 4% to 5.2. Just making you aware, right? One of the things, now jumping into it, the two trades that I wanted to quickly talk about. The first trade that I took today was with Marvel. Marvel, I opened up a short position. If you tuned on into my live trading session with my LPP team, friendly reminder, quick little plug. I trade live every morning with our LPP team. If you ever want to tune on in, I'll be live tomorrow at Market Open. It's the second link in the description down below. With that being said, one of my favorite setups I love shorting overbought reversals. When a stock runs up very quickly, you never know how high it could run up, but you could expect that if it runs up very quickly, not always, but if there's confirmation of a reversal, that it's going to pull back some. And that's what I did. I allowed this thing to run up. As it began to show signs of a resistance, I opened up a short position, added more to it when direction became favorable. And within like 30 to 45 minutes, I was in and out of the trade. I made $3,200. I closed out the trade. I didn't have to worry about it recovering. I know it's a very bullish stock, especially looking at previous patterns. I wanted to respect that, but I saw an intraday opportunity. As a day trader, yes, it was a high risk, high reward, but nonetheless, I waited for confirmation. I added more to it only when direction was confirmed that it was selling off. And then I took profits at any sign of a support. I actually took profits early as we approached previous support range. So this was the trade that felt efficient, felt effective. And after it, I was just like, it felt easy. This is like the glorified trade that just everything felt good about it. But I want to highlight what made it feel that way, right? Direction. Direction was in my favor very quickly from when I took and opened the short. Not right away, but shortly after. My position size. I wasn't in aggressive, that even while it was consolidating a little bit and we were waiting for that rejection, there were points where it began to, again, you never know if it's fully going to sell off, which is why I have a small position in it. But that is the whole point of position size management. How many times have you made the mistake of jumping in too aggressive, too early on, and then it almost makes it more exhausting, right? Especially if it begins to go against you. So I stayed so light that until direction was favorable, then I added more to it. And then as I began to add more, as it approached support, I didn't overthink it. I just took profits. Again, direction, waiting for confirmation, position size management, and efficiency when it comes down to the time. I was quickly in and out of the trade and it felt incredible. It was a very efficient trade versus, now again, you might be like, well, Ricky, you made $1,400. Why are you complaining? Trust me, I am not complaining, but such a different experience in the sense that also kind of an overbought reversal, right? Ran up, I opened up a short position. Shortly after, it continued to push higher. I added a little bit more to my short position. It pulled back a little bit, but then it ran up a little bit higher. And then again, my position wasn't super aggressive. My position was actually relatively pretty light. I was only down like $600 or $700 at the worst, but it was, annoying. It was annoying that I had a trade that was just teeter-tottering around an area and would not break support. It was stubborn. And it cost me a lot of time, where by the end of it, think about this, by the end of it, prior to the last 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes of the market closing where it sold off and then I took profits, there's a form of luck there, right? Fortunately, it sold off. You have to acknowledge this. Like, I was already in the position. I didn't add any more to it. By the time that it was selling off, I just wanted to get out of the trade. Fortunately, it sold off so much so quickly that I was able to get out at a decent amount, but I was over it. I didn't even care. I just felt like even if I ended to break even or very minimal loss, it's irrelevant to me. I wanted to get out. I felt exhausted. I regretted taking the trade because I did so good with my first trade. It was so efficient. I did so good with my position size management and waiting for true direction and confirmation to be in my favor. And then I had this waste of time. And part of it was maybe my average purchase price wasn't the best, and then I added more to it when it still wasn't really in my favor. The biggest thing was direction wasn't in my favor, right? That's very clearly seen where there were signs of it, and then it quickly went against me, right? First thing, direction was truly not in my favor. I should have acknowledged that early on. Second, my position size management was fine. Honestly, it wasn't a very large position. Like I said, at the worst, it was $600 or $700 that I was, in a loss for, which that's very manageable for me. So I didn't feel overwhelmed with the loss. I just felt exhausted with the time. The biggest thing in this trade that led to it not being efficient or effective was the lack of direction and the lack of confirmation. But you know what would exacerbate this, make it worse? If my position size was all in. How many times have you made a mistake that when a trade goes against you, you just add more? You just add more, right? Or maybe you're buying the dip on something to try to go long and you're just buying more. And then you're so, oh my gosh, I have so much skin in this. It's going against me. I just want to be break even, right? What is the biggest mistake that you are making? direction is against you. So instead of adding more, before you fuel and add gas to that fire and actually make it worse, stop hoping that it's going to go in your favor and actually just wait. At this point, if my position was so light, like it originally was, and direction went against me, my first option is just cut losses. Accept that direction is against me, cut losses, because my position size is so small, cutting losses should be minimal. In the sense my exposure to loss is minimal. First option. Second option is it's such a small position that if I can tolerate, right, this trade, and there truly is no break of pattern because it never actually made new highs, which is what I was paying attention to. If it would have made new highs, I would have cut losses there. It would have been down $700-800 if it made new highs, right? But by seeing that it never made new highs, I could have easily just set alerts. Would it still have been an efficient trade? No. Would it have been as annoying if my position was super light and then we wait for confirmation and then I add more? When it actually began selling off, still kind of a form of luck there, but fortunately I ended up selling off. It looks like people began to take profits. It began selling off. At least at that point, I could have added more, had more fun because I felt like I was taking more part of the action. But guess what? I was just already so fed up and so exhausted that by the time it was selling off, I was over it. How many of you guys have ever been there? But how many of you guys have ever been there when you're all in? It's a terrible feeling. So what are some takeaways? Comparing regardless of the outcome. Remember, you need to do this with your own trades. These are my trades. When looking back at Marvel, what was so beautiful about it? Direction was in my favor. Position size management was A1. And time, efficiency. I wasn't greedy. At any indication of a support, I was willing to take profits. And maybe that's another thing where I could have looked back on, and when it pulled back a little bit, I could have acknowledged that, hey, it's still above the moving average. It's still very early. Maybe I just take profits there. At that point, the risk to reward would have never made sense. I should have just not taken the trade, and that's just something that I have to look back on and acknowledge myself. Overall, direction and confirmation are such an important thing, especially when trading high risk overbought reversals. If you are trading anything that is of greater risk, you should have more criteria that needs to be met before you actually take the trade, and especially put a lot of money behind it. Position size management is something that we talk so much about within LPP because we know it's one of the biggest mistakes beginners make. They always just want to have every penny behind every trade they take. But every trade they take as a beginner is not a good one. So why are you putting every penny behind it? It's when you begin to kind of like actually speak these things out loud, you're like, that's like common sense. But guess what? Common sense isn't so common when you're emotionally taking trades. And that's something that we can all relate to. So again, I am calling myself out by highlighting things, areas of opportunity that we can all do better. And I know we can, right? So I felt like maybe a few of you, most of you probably won't care because you see a green trade and you're like, that's a good trade. No. There's a distinct difference from a good trade and a bad trade. And in my opinion, that Rocket Lab short was a bad trade. It cost me a lot of time, a lot of stress, and at the end of the day, I don't know if it was actually worth the risk to reward wise. And if you actually look back to your trades, I'm sure you can quickly realize and acknowledge which trades are actually good trades and which trades are actually bad trades, regardless if you end up in the green or in the red. Our job as traders are never to be perfect. You can take advantage of good trades, good setups, and still end up red. But if you manage to mitigate risk appropriately, then that doesn't make you a bad trader. It was just a trade that went against you. But you manage risk appropriately. And that's what's most important. That will make you a better trader than those that get lucky on the bull run and are only one bad trade away from giving back all the money that they've made. Implement healthy habits, and over a long period of time, it should pay off in your favor. Again, a little bit of a different video. I hope that some of you guys maybe take away something from this. And if you do, maybe you can consider dropping a thumbs up and subscribing if you feel like we earned it. Again, I trade live every morning. I work exclusively with my LPP team. I offer nothing else. It's a one-time payment, lifetime access. if this is something that you want to have access to or learn more about, it's the second link in the description down below. I appreciate you guys' time. Hope that gives a thumbs up. Everything is linked in the description down below. So make sure you check it out to stay connected. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team. Happy Wednesday.